pay-per-view of the year. So I'm gonna start off with my nominations, right? I'm gonna show it to you guys here. And yeah, so these are my nominations, man. I went with number 5. I went with John Jones versus Gane, UFC 285. I mean, that card in itself was great. Shavkat versus Jeff Neal, Cody Garbrandt getting a win over Trevin Jones, Derek Brunson versus Dricus Duplessis on the preliminaries. I mean, Alexa Grasso ending Chef Mickey's career was phenomenal. So got to put that at number 5. Pierre versus Adesanya. Yeah, the evil Adesanya got the knockout, but hey, still was a great show. Rob Font knocked out Adrian Yanez, and Gilbert Burns ended Masvidal Bum's career. So I put that at number 4. Number 3, I mean, UFC 291. Like, come on now. Fucking the people's elbow on Dustin Poirier's head. What had that? Gaethje knocking him out to oblivion was great. Alex Pierre ending the Journeyman Yan nonsense. Phenomenal. Great card. Can't be mad at it. And at number 2, this was a tough one, man. Volkanovski versus Rodriguez. I mean, Moreno versus Pantoja 2. Hooker versus Turner. Phenomenal card.
Robbie Lawler went out with a bang as well. Is that the card that Robbie Lawler went out with a bang?
Yep, yes, sir. And last but not least, Dricus Duplessis, my African brother, ended the Robert Whittaker.
You know that clip runs right through in my head. Get him! And then you throw the 3-piece on the screen.
Yeah. But there can only be one number 1. There can only be one spot for number 1. And my God was UFC 295.
Yeah, let's go. That was my number 1 as well. Let's go.
Pay-per-view of the year. So me and both Ed kind of went with UFC 295. Yuri Prochazka getting slayed and getting destroyed was the highlight. Obviously we're gonna be running it back. Me and the Yuri fangirls. Or when Rakic disposes of the dead body at UFC 300, and we end this war. But I won't say too much. And I'm gonna give Ed the floor, and I'm gonna let him talk about his nominations. But yeah, man, let me get Ed's things up. But I'm gonna let you do your piece, brother.
What do you want to just do pay-per-views first? Yeah, because we talked about pay-per-views.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna give
honestly. Mine's the same as yours, really. I've got the same 5 pay-per-views on the list as you do. It's just in a different order.
Yeah.
95, 295 and 290 are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I got 285 as number 3, particularly because Grasso getting the upset was a big thing for me. Yeah. And obviously, John Jones claiming a second bout in a different division.
Yeah.
That was a big statement as well. 287 was very underrated for me.
Mm-hmm.
You got the narrative of Izzy winning, obviously him getting that duck off his back, and he had a lot of mental demons coming into the fight.
Yeah.
Jorge retiring on home soil, fighting in Miami finally, and a whole bunch of other stuff on that card as well that was really good. Yeah. And 291 was on mine because I did like Kopylov getting a finish and Gaethje getting a finish, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff on there as well.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like. Gaethje, that was 6 years in the making, and Pereira announces himself in a new weight class after getting knocked out 3 months prior. That was a big statement for him as well.
Yeah. And
you know what? Like, honestly, that was a card where you see 2 individuals show real adversity, and they kind of come back and show themselves to, get out of it on the other side. We got Pereira, like I said, Pereira's been knocked out. Not only does he win that fight, but he also goes on to win the belt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's why that event was that's why that event got in my top 5. And Gaethje, like I said, Gaethje lost to Poirier 6 years ago, and he showed the improvements as well. And it got to a point where I think I was saying to you after that fight, one of the fight talks will be up there where I said it. I was like, I was that impressed with him. I was just so interested in watching him fight Makhachev.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, him versus Islam would be great, honestly. So. Man, I don't know. It's a really interesting fight. I don't know. Obviously, the questions about his takedown defense is going to be everyone's question. But
also, even with the Khabib footage, like we saw Khabib take like 10 leg kicks. We saw him eat the hooks that he did. It's like I just don't look at Islam in the same mold. If I'm honest with you, Islam's a very skilled fighter, and he did really well this year. But it's like he looks so human to me compared to Khabib. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain
it's that Volk fight. I mean, it's like it gives everyone hope. There's a chance. There's a legitimate chance. But do you want to talk about? I mean, obviously we know it's 295, but do you want to talk about 295?
295, sure. 295 or 296 you want to talk about?
I mean 295 for you. Why it's your pay-per-view of the year?
295.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we all know Tommy Aspinall winning the internet.
Tommy Aspinall. It's a big thing. It's a big thing for us in the UK because obviously you'll know this as well because you're a combat sports fan yourself. You'll know that MSG is just a big thing.
Yeah.
He went to MSG on 2 weeks' notice and fought the scariest puncher in the division and knocked him out in a minute. That was big for us, and I never doubted him for a second. Like I was confident, and I picked him to win by finish. And for me, I just never doubted him. And then you got Benoit Saint Denis. He's had an amazing year. Yep. He cracks the top 15 with his performance. Diego Lopez is another fighter that I'm really starting to like, and that's one thing I can say about this year, and I'm sure you'll agree with me as well.
Yeah,
the UFC have done a great job of putting these fighters and giving them a platform, and we can be like, oh, I like this guy, I like that guy, I like this guy, and I'm like, I'm loving Nate the Train, I'm loving Diego Lopez, I'm loving Matt Frivola, I'm loving Benoit Saint Denis, and you'll look at it yourself, like it's just whatever card comes next, you're like, oh, like I love this set of fights that they've gotten in. I kind of like the fighters.
Yeah,
and it makes me look forward to the events a lot more than I used to. When I used to, like, especially when I was very earlier in my days watching MMA, I only used to really like 2 or 3 fighters. But now I look forward to cards and I look forward to seeing certain matchups.
Yeah, I feel it, man.
And I forgot Nazima and Vyacheslav.